Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar tonight. Super excited for you all to be here. Sorry that we're in here a couple minutes later. We were chatting behind the scenes. So for those of you that are watching live, before we get started, if you could do a couple things, I'd really appreciate it. If you could, in the chat, make sure it says everyone on the bottom so that you can connect with other people that are in the group. And then if you could let us know your name, what you do, and where you're from, that would be awesome. We'll start with that just so we can get an idea of where you guys are all at. And then if you want to either put a yes or a no, if you also are familiar with Saving Claire, so we know kind of where you're at with all of that. So we'll wait a few minutes so you guys can enter that into the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get started in just a few minutes so we can see where you guys all are from. So, hey, Shannon, great to have you in here. So Shannon has a private practice in Nebraska. Paulette, she's an occupational therapist, San Francisco Bay Area. Martha, OT in Knoxville, Tennessee. She learned about Saving Claire through the Village to Village Network. This is really goofy, so it looks weird for me. Let's see, Village to Village Network annual conference she attended last year. Deborah's in Tampa, Florida. She's starting her mobile practice as well. Not aware of Saving Claire. Diane, OT, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Awesome. Thank you guys for giving us a little bit of a background about who you are and where you're from. And for those that continue to come in, or if you haven't had a chance to plug your info into the chat, that would be awesome. So the first thing we're going today, I'm going to pull up on the screen the attached Saving Claire intro document. I'm going to get that pulled up, and why we do that, we're going to do a little bit of introduction. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Kara Welke. I'm an occupational therapist. I have a mobile outpatient practice as well as a clinic practice here in North Dakota. So we started back in 2018 working with older adults in their homes. We've expanded since then to add on a clinic setting. And we have several PT, OT, caregivers, staff on, and caregivers on our staff. And then I also own Next Level Occupational Therapy, and we help therapists across the United States start and build their private practices, as well as those that already have a private practice build and grow. And I was Chris Wilson. So we have two Chris's tonight, everyone. So you guys have to keep the Chris's straight. We have KW and CA. So Chris Wilson was the one that first introduced me to Saving Claire and introduced me to Chris Ames. That's how we all got connected here. And then over the past year, we introduced a variety of other therapists to Saving Claire, and they've been using Saving Claire in their practices across the United States. So why don't we start with Chris Wilson, since you were the one that first introduced me, and then we'll go to the creator of Saving Claire, Chris, after that. So Chris Wilson, you want to start next?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Wilson, owner of Modified Independence. I am an occupational therapist, hence the name of my company. We were Mobile Med B. I got away from insurance and now just private pay supplemental therapy, specializing in home modifications here in the Jacksonville, Northeast Florida area. I was first introduced to Saving Claire and Chris Ames in 2021. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. They were working on a grant with the Council on Aging here locally, and it became an offering as a piece of education that came along with the grant. So I was blessed with the opportunity to do almost 200 home safety assessments with that grant, and introduced 200 individual homes to Saving Claire. And as a result, since then, I am a feature presenter here in the area, covering all of the Duval, St. John's and Clay County senior centers and libraries, working with local entities like the PBS station in order to get the information out about Saving Claire. And I don't know, Chris, last week I think I presented to well over at least 150 people. I had 3 presentations last week.
That's
So
fantastic.
I've got a lot of experience. I've presented to rooms full of 1 people and upwards of 100 people. So I look forward to bringing this to you guys. It's been an incredible benefit to my business. Just about every presentation now, recently that I've done a few of them has turned into somebody calling me afterwards because I've learned the right handouts to give, the right way to address my business, especially in a setting where I'm not even supposed to market my business in the city centers. So even with that obstacle, I'm still able to do pretty well with doing presentations and getting referrals out of it. And it's just a great community service, getting people aware because we get seniors people turn senior every single day, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it was my pleasure once I was able to realize the benefit of how it would benefit my company, to then bring it to Kara because I knew she had the biggest audience of therapists that would benefit from this.
Thank you, Chris. Now we'll go to the other Chris, Chris Ames.
Hi, I'm Chris Ames. With my wife Rainey, we created the Saving Claire project as part of our larger project, the Thriving in Place project. We've been working together for decades and we produce documentaries. When we found the Saving Claire project, we didn't understand exactly what we had, but working with people like Chris and Kara, and also you'll see some of the other people that we've worked with, we found that this is a very, very special program. We've been working with occupational therapists across the country, thanks to Kara and Chris's introduction for the last 8 or 9 months, and have had a lot of very positive experience and feedback. At the same time, not everybody that we've worked with is completely familiar with how to go about and expand and have the success like Chris Wilson is having. So part of the reason we're holding doing this webinar, is to make sure that we step people through things and give advice on things that have worked at other parts of the country, but also for anybody who might be new. And I think a lot of people here might be new. So we want to make sure that we do a basic introduction to Saving Claire, to the Falls Prevention Project, to what it is and how it works. So what we're going to do first is go through a document that we've created to introduce the project. We're going to then watch a 6-minute video, which shows a lot of the first few minutes and then some other segments of the Saving Claire documentary. And then we're going to go through some other materials that we have, make sure that you understand what you get with the Saving Claire project, how to work with it, and then open it up to questions. If there are questions during any of this, please pop them in the chat and we'll definitely try and grab them and respond to them. If not immediately, then as soon as we possibly can. So just to start, is there a way we can make that full screen, Kara? I'm not sure if we, I mean, it's okay. This is,
I can try downloading it to see if it looks better. Just a second here. Yeah, it still
That's
does.
fine. There you go. Okay, so we have started making sure that we introduce the Saving Claire project with the phrasing, the falls epidemic. Everybody who is involved, especially with seniors, especially in a therapy setting, a professional medical setting, is aware of, I think, falls. But what is clear over the last few years is that this is people are falling and it's getting worse. And I was actually speaking to somebody on the West Coast today, and they were saying that the not only are the number of falls getting worse, but the severity of the falls are getting worse. So when we use the phrase "help stop the falls epidemic," we're actually, that's an informed phrase that we're using, and we didn't actually start telling people about Save and Clear using that, but this is definitely an epidemic that is a big deal. We use innovative practices to engage and inform, and storytelling is at the heart of it. So again, going back to the why it matters, 14 million Americans fall every year. You can see these. Many of you will know these numbers. I don't need to go through all of these numbers. You will have a copy of this. I think we'll put it in the chat if you haven't seen this already. So, and again, going back to this conversation today with somebody on a falls prevention coalition, not only is the severity worse, but of course, costs are increasing. The cost of Medicare is a lot. And the thing that we rarely see is conversation about the cost and pain and suffering to the individual falls and the families that are having to address the fall of their loved ones or their friends. So these are very important things that are motivating us to do this and may motivate many of you. Let's go to the next page, if you would, please. Thank you. So what we begin with is Linda Goldman, and she was a 70-year-old, and she was very unhappy with all the treatment of old people in theater. And so she decided to write a play. And it goes on with Saving Claire, goes on to the challenges of change, the complex nature of aging. And we follow people and we follow other subject matter experts. But the reason that it works, and what happens is when people watch Saving Claire, they get connected with the people on the screen because, as you can see from the brain, our brains are wired from history to listen to stories and to connect with stories and to learn from stories. And so you avoid that denial and you avoid the defensiveness that people have when I'm not going to fall, right? Everybody says that. And once you've engaged them, then you empower them. And this is what Chris Wilson was just saying, is once they're engaged and empowered, then they want to talk about it and they want to connect. And that's where we start the process of getting them to reduce falls. This isn't a solution, it's a beginning, and it's a very important beginning because once they get that empowerment during the event, during the Saving Claire screening event, we then hand out a survey and we have them say, you know, what do you intend to do? And most people will then intend to do something that they aren't already doing. And once you've made that checkbox or you've circled that thing, you've made a commitment. And again, going back to human nature, once you've made a commitment, you kind of want to keep it. So that's how the Saving Claire project works in a nutshell. Go ahead to the next page, please. So we go through and we show the program, and then we implement the program. Part of what we do when you sign on as a presenting sponsor is you are a presenter and we will train you. We take an hour at least to train you and anybody else in your organization on the things that we have learned work, on the things that we have learned sometimes work, sometimes don't, and answer any questions that you might have. We step you through all the details of how to go about setting up events and how to present events and then how to follow up with events. Next page, please. The toolkit, what you actually get with Saving Claire, there are 4 versions of the Saving Claire film. And that's because different screening events have different requirements for time. So there's a very short one, and Chris Wilson really likes this one. He wants to get to the connection with people, and I get it. And a lot of people like that. And then there's a 30-minute, which we feel is perfect for a 1-hour program because it gives people enough more detailed information than the 15-minute, but it's also short enough where you can watch it. There's a 45-minute, which has a lot more detail and is, again, good for longer events and sometimes for additional material if you want to present it. And then there's a full feature-length documentary that will be released shortly, that if you are in some more of a theatrical setting where you want to show it, you're welcome to do that. We've had it shown in multiple theaters around the country, and it's nice. I mean, it's a nice documentary, but the same thing can apply. You can have the conversation afterwards. You have project planning and management tools. There's actually an interactive quick start guide where you actually can fill out the forms, and there's links to all the different information. We have client surveys, safety checklists, action plans. We've got some content specialized for occupational therapy, and we've got some additional exercise videos that we are producing for you, tracking and monitoring, and then connection to the Saving Clare Fall Prevention Resource Center. Next one, please. So this is something that we did not understand when we first got started. We started working with Marymount University, which is a university near Washington, D.C., and they created and energized the Northern Virginia Falls Prevention Coalition. And they've done screening events for more than 1,000 people over the last couple of years. And last year, towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, they collated all their data. They had their students gather all the information from these surveys that they had handed out. And the results of these surveys were they were surprising we knew things were working. We knew it had an effect, but these surveys showed, wow, this is an amazing effect. And you can see these numbers. These numbers were so impressive that the National Council on Aging asked Sarah Papa, who is the head of the Saving Clare organization at the Marymount Center for Optimal Aging, to present to their annual meeting this summer. And she will also be presenting these same numbers and her results at the Gerontological Society of America in November. So we were really blown away. Next one, please. Where we started a few years ago, we had 2 events in 1 county in Florida, and now we're in 3 countries, 19 states, et cetera, et cetera. So, which is great, and we're glad that we're doing this, but it's not nearly enough. And one of the things that we're working tirelessly on, and really appreciate Kara and Chris working with us to get this, is to get Saving Clare to as many people as possible, so that as many people as possible can learn about it and then implement it. And we're hoping that if you haven't been doing this, that you're one of those people that do that also. Next one, please. So these are some of the communities that Saving Clare people have been working with. Virginia and Maryland and Washington, D.C. Marymount worked with a group called Planning for Senior Life and the Northern Virginia Falls Prevention Coalition, and they've been doing that, and they're going to just keep on doing that and rolling it out. We've got events next week. Just next week and next month. So that's just going to keep on going. Duval and Clay counties, this is the project that Chris Wilson was talking about, working with Aging True, which is a senior services organization based in Jacksonville. Duval is the same as Jacksonville. And you can see Nicole Egan, who is the Director of Care Services for Aging True. She wrote this report to her board. She was very impressed with it. And so we've had a lot of success in Jacksonville area. Next page, please. So then there's Maryland, and Greenbelt is doing this. The Chautauqua Institution, which is a very legacy institution. One of the people that we work with is an OT, and she presents there every summer, and she chose to present Saving Clare. The Tampa Bay YMCA is going to be presenting this at all 10 of their locations, and I think we had somebody from Tampa, so let's connect about that. The Central Coast, California, we're working with the Village to Village movement in San Luis Obispo, and Minnesota, Allison Baki from Above and Beyond Senior Services. The Minnesota Board on Aging was interested in learning more about how to implement, and so Allison was able to present to them, and she's a big fan. She's had a lot of events, lots of people. Then we just go on through Pennsylvania, Missouri, Oklahoma, Stockton University in New Jersey. We've got Georgia OT students. And then we again talk about the Gerontological Society of America. Next page, please. So these are some comments that people say. You can read these. We're very, very glad to have these people to be able to work with these people and with all the people that we work with. Next page, please. These are some of the people that we work with. We've got lots and lots of organizations, and we truly hope that we'll be able to work with yours if you're attending here for the first time. I think it's probably a good time. What we'd like to do now is run a 6-minute video, which starts with the first few minutes of Saving Claire, so you get a sense of what happens in it, and then there's some on-screen explanations. At the end, you'll hear Chris tell us again how much he likes it, and then we'll come back. If you would, please, Kara, thank you very much.
I am getting it hooked up. I just have to switch from that
Yes,
screen
of
to
course.
another. So
Right.
if you guys have any questions while I pull this up, feel free to, do you want the Saving Claire highlights video? That's what I have.
Yes. Yes, please. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
I thought you switched it to the 6 minutes and I was like, oh no, it is
Wait,
6 minutes.
that should be 6 minutes.
Yep, it is. I had the 2-minute one. Okay, here we go, everyone. Hopefully this works. Let me share again. Can everyone hear it? Hopefully.
Can't hear.
Can you try playing? No, we
Now
can't
can-
hear. No.
Sorry, can't hear.
Yep,
Maybe
I'm fixing it. I thought I had
that-
it fixed. Sorry, everyone.
not a problem.
Audio.
Maybe go back to the beginning. Please.
There's a setting that
Yeah, you got to hit
need-
share sound.
I need to click in here, but it's different than it used to be. Venus, do you maybe want to share it?
Yes, I
If
can
I'm
try.
not, unless you can
Or
tell me where
I might
it
be
went.
able to. You like me to?
Just a second, I'll try
I
one
need
more
to-
thing here.
There,
Yeah, I
if you
don't know
click,
why.
I think if you click, Kara, the actual share green button, it has an option to share sounds.
Yeah, nope, I'm not seeing, I used to have the button that I would click, but I'm not seeing it right now. So Chris, I'll give it to you if you want to share it.
Unfortunately, my video won't let me share the sound.
That's what mine is doing. Sorry, guys. I thought I tested but obviously I did not.
I can try sharing. Let me. I'll try sharing right now. Select this option if you want others to hear. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear it?
Hit
No,
play.
It's playing right now.
yeah, it's not showing it on.
Why?
Shoot.
Well, you know what? We may just need to
Chris,
put this link
I'll try working on it. Do you want to kind of go on to either
Yeah.
ask questions or share any more while we try to work on it on the back end here?
Yeah, let me put the link in the chat and everybody can watch it once we're done with this event. It's available. There we go. Y'all can watch it afterwards. Please feel free and please do and let me know if there's questions. So I apologize for that. Let me put my video back on, and if we can watch it, we will. So the key to the event, or the key to Saving Claire, is the screening event. And when you hold a screening event, you gather people. So it's important to consider, I believe, that in your specific area where you work, who are you going to work with? Who would you be appropriate to work with? We've got materials in the resource kit to step you through different things, but generally speaking, what you're looking for is an organization or an institution, a senior center, a city, maybe a YMCA, where people are gathering. Sometimes it's group meals, sometimes it's exercise, sometimes it's just social. And you connect with them and you set up a time to screen. Our suggestion is just set it up so that you can screen it and then go ahead and run the program. We have a survey that you do from CDC Steady. You start off with that and then you run the program. So if you can't find an organization that you're used to that wants to do this, we'll work with you to help you get started and connect with an organization to start doing screening events. One of the things that's in this brochure that we sent, what happens is people attend one of these, and sometimes you may have a few people, but almost always one of those people will say afterwards, I'd like to do this in another community that I'm a member of. And then you just keep on rolling on through there. At the same time, you can go on and then connect. If you've done it in one organization, you can connect with another organization or with metropolitan city center, senior centers, those sorts of things. I do have, I think in the chat, I can attach a list for every state from the National Council on Aging of the Fall Prevention Coalition. And if you're interested, my suggestion is you may want to connect to the people that are listed there. We've got relationships with a lot of them, and so they may be aware of Saving Claire. And then they can also help you begin the process of connecting with organizations that may be appropriate for showing Saving Claire. The thing about this is there are a lot of seniors everywhere in the country, and you want a lot of people showing Saving Claire, because then more and more people will, one, stop falling, and two, understand what it means when you say Saving Claire. So you'll be part of what we're calling the Saving Claire community and the Saving Claire network. Venus has put a link in the chat if you are interested, and if you haven't connected with me yet, please do fill that out. I know some of you I recognize have already done that, so please, you don't need to worry about doing it twice. But if you can, then I'll connect with you tomorrow or sometime this week, and then we'll continue on and talk about that. Kara, there's one document called the Saving Claire Project Includes that if you could run through it. I think it reviews much of what was in the toolkit of that first introductory document, but we can also send that and put it in the chat if we want.
That's good. I'm still trying to figure out the volume.
As far as sending the Google form request, yeah, just go ahead and hit it. I think you fill it out and then you hit submit, and I'll see it in the in the response, and I'll connect with you. Okay, so this is the Saving Clare Projects Includes, and we detail a little bit more the Quick Start Guide, which is a great, I say that because I built it, but we're really pleased with it because it gives you a step-by-step, do this, do this, do this, do this. But you also get, in addition to the 3 versions of the film, now 4 links to the trailer, you get the 4 segments for social media, which you can then put out. And for therapists only, as a result of our partnership working with Kara, anybody who connects with us with this, we work with you and produce we have a script that you will then be on camera and you say the words, and it lasts about 30 seconds. And we connect that with the Saving Clare trailer. So it's your individual introduction to Saving Clare. If you become a presenting sponsor, every version of Saving Clare that you run will have your company name and logo at the beginning under a screen that says presented by. And we do that as part of the benefits, if you will, of being a Saving Clare presenting sponsor, and then also at the very end. And then we also have a lot of different templates for flyers, for project announcements, for ways to connect with community leaders and other people who you may want to get involved. Being involved in the Saving Clare community means you are a community leader specifically for Saving Clare, the falls prevention efforts. So if that's something that matters to you, if you care about it, or if it's appropriate, if that's your area of practice, this is a really good fit because it's what Chris Wilson was saying, is you then become known as the Saving Clare person. You are connected with that community, and you will just continue to have positive feedback in terms of anything having to do with falls prevention, and you can then present Saving Clare. Again, I was talking to this person today, and they were saying that they do 3 events. I mean, that's their job, is to do 3 events a week. And this program is great because up until then, they said, they're doing death by PowerPoint and, CDC Steady, which is great. We know how to stop falls. We know if you do this, you're not going to fall. But getting people to want to stop falls and to want to do the things that stop falls, very, very important. And then there's a lot of other materials that you're going to get in terms of, okay, I'm going to let this roll. And then we'll take questions.
Yes, I think it'd be better just at the end. I will tell you guys what I did just in case it happens to you, because they changed some settings on me. Here we go.
Also, before you, wait, real quick, Kara. On the bottom of the button, there's a CC on the bottom of the screen. And people ask us this because a lot of times senior citizens, senior communities, they have challenges hearing. If you click that, every version has closed caption, and we now have it also in Spanish as well. Thank you, Kara.
Yep.
Before you started writing plays, what did you do before you became a playwright?
I was directing adults at leisure programs at my temple for 8 years. What I was seeing in comedy was getting to the point where it was silly, slapstick, offensive, particularly to seniors. Even in old age, we still want to learn, we still change, we still adapt. And I wasn't seeing this on stage. So that one that was so bad, I just said, I can write a better play than that. And I did.
You are about to enter a new dimension in live theater.
So I started a theater company. I was 70. Who knew? I wanted seniors in lead roles. And then I wanted it to dwell on issues that seniors face.
The number 2 call that we run is for falls, with over 80% of those being seniors over 55 and over. The whole world is an accident waiting to happen, right? Because we just take so many things for granted. I mean, we all think we're 20 years younger than we really are, and we think we remember back to those times. And we all want to do things on our own. We don't want people to help us.
You will meet Claire, a woman you might describe as just as normal as you and me, although perhaps a bit more strong-willed.
Yes, it was dark as a blackout, but it's a small threshold and I've stepped over it thousands of times. I didn't think I needed to see where to put my foot. Next thing I knew, I was flat on my back.
We follow Claire from her first fall through the spiral that follows.
She hit her head this time. She's not going to make it.
I didn't want to leave things open-ended to show people that, oh, well, maybe if I make these wrong choices, I might have a chance. Claire didn't have a chance, and I want our community to know and understand that by making the poor choices, that is the path that you're leading.
Falls are the leading cause of injury and death in the United States.
You will die if you don't change what you're doing.
What in the world went wrong here? I didn't want to change anything.
The stubbornness of Claire really resonated with me because I'm very stubborn and I think that, again, I can fly.
So somehow a fall has some kind of guilt attached to it, or some kind of negative connotation attached to it, that a person becomes resistant to whatever might be in the toolbox to help prevent it.
Put in night lights, motion lights, any kind of lighting that will help you see the way. That's going to help you prevent a fall. The bathroom is one of the places where we have a lot of slip and falls. So I always laugh and say, you know, if you don't prevent it in the bathroom, someone might see you when you just step out of the shower.
Fire department.
And maybe that's not your best look. Just saying.
Saving Claire works because people connect to stories. People are more likely to change their lifestyle when they see a character they identify with making the same change.
Nobody wants to admit that they're getting older. I mean, in the back of your mind, you look in the mirror and you say, who is that person? Where did all those years go? It awakened me as far as what I should do.
So it's changed my life quite a bit. There's a lot of things that I don't do anymore. I'm tempted sometimes, like I had to change this light up here on this thing, and I did go up one step, and I shouldn't have done that, because I promised her I wouldn't, because the results of falling are so overwhelming.
I removed a rug that could have slipped right where you enter my home, which is a condo. I had a grab bar installed in the bathroom shower. I have different slippers that have grips on them.
What would you say to people who might be thinking about doing something big, after they've had another career, or doing something at 70 that they never really tried before? What would you tell them based on your experience doing this?
I would have never expected to become a playwright at this age. I would say, put yourself out there, take a risk. Dreams are not just for the young.
I believe I'm part of one of the most important things that is ever going to happen to me professionally. The Saving Claire project is so beneficial to not only clinicians who are trying to help seniors age in place, but also family members who have aging seniors that they're concerned about. And then on top of it, the seniors that are directly affected by the decisions that they make in their life and the living situation that they have. There's not much else that I've learned about in my entire occupational therapy career that crosses all three of those levels. I mean, doctors can watch this and they get the understanding, they get the feeling and everything. So, it's the most important thing that's going to happen to me professionally. because if it happens to me, that means that I can take it out and show it to the community and do something positive with it.
Thank you very much, Kara. I'm so glad we were able to do that, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. That presented by screen is the one that your logo will be on for the ones that you play. So you'll be able to do that. So thank you very much. What I'd like to do now is to open it up and see if we have any questions. I've been speaking a lot, and I apologize, and I appreciate your patience. Yes, of course, we'll repost the link here. There you go. And oh, you got it. Thank you, Venus. One thing, there was a question earlier about do you have to be, I think, an OT? And we are working today with this group because Kara and Chris work with therapists. You know, Kara's got her organization, Chris has his, and we're working with therapists, and a lot of people on this webinar are going to be therapists. But we also work with nurses, we work with hospitals, we work with senior communities. With the YMCA, we're working just with the YMCA. So you don't have to be a therapist, but it helps because you're really going to be able to provide immediate services when people connect. But if you want to share this with other people, please feel free to do so. Or if you want to work with other people to broaden your reach out there. So there you go. Great. So you don't have to be a therapist, but it helps. And Chris
can
and
I
Kara,
chime in just real
yeah,
quick?
please. I was going to say, I've been talking a lot. Thank you.
So just a little bit of a background about how we utilize it in a few different ways. So we do have a business here in North Dakota, as I told you, and we just did a presentation last week at our local senior center where we do a pre-assessment and do the Saving Claire video, and then we do a Q&A session, and then we do a post-assessment follow-up. We did actually get a couple referrals based off of that session that we did at the senior center. We also have given it at a local church. And then people kind of utilize it in a variety of different ways. So we're in a pretty small area compared to like Chris in Jacksonville. And why Chris W and I, when we initially connected, we thought, again, it would be perfect for the population that I work with through Next Level, because we help therapists both with starting and building their business and with growing their business. And many of the therapists we work with do work with older adults. And utilizing the Saving Claire approach allows therapists to get out there in the community, do presentations, and it helps them to build that trust and credibility out there in the community. You know, it's not saying that some of our therapists are able to get out there and build a caseload off of it, but it allows them to be able to get out there and present this and use this as part of their discussion and education and training, you know, to build that trust and credibility in the community. We've seen, kind of like Chris mentioned earlier, we've seen all levels from therapists that, you know, have used it very well to others that kind of struggle with implementing it based on where they're at with their business and so forth. But, you know, as Chris does it a ton, and some of our other therapists that Chris talked about that we work with, some do a great job with it. I feel that, well, Chris and I both have had this discussion. We feel that it's perfect for occupational therapists to present this, just for the fact that, you know, throughout this conversation, it talks about the importance of a home safety assessment, the fall screening and so forth. So we're able to provide a lot, medication management, things like that. So we're able to provide a lot of further education based on that, and then that follow-up. Same thing for physical therapists. There's key points in that as well. I just did a falls prevention or a falls presentation so I'm in North Dakota and close to Minnesota. So I just did a presentation for the Area Agency on Aging, one of the groups in Minnesota. And as talking through different things with the lady who asked me to come in and speak, they actually just signed up with the Savings Claire program, I think in Minnesota, with their adult aging services and so forth. So we're actually going to meet so we can offer them tips and so forth on how we've implemented it. So it can be offered in kind of a variety of different areas and by different people and still be effective. So Chris, any thoughts on that?
I would say the one thing that I've learned, especially in transitioning from being a Medicare provider to being a private pay provider, on the Medicare side, I learned very quickly that having people have something to take away. So I would actually have a laminated copy of the Steady Fall Risk Assessment with my contact information on the back. And many times we got referrals because patients would take the card to their doctor. Now, on the flip side of that, now that I've switched to purely private pay, I've changed some of my offerings, and incredibly, it has yielded people contacting me back. And one of the other things I meant to tell you, Chris and Kara, was after I've done a presentation, especially recently, I've started tallying up the points and totaling everything up. And one of the presentations I did last week had 46 or so people, and their steady fall risk assessment average was 6.67. When we know that 4 is a risk for a fall. So I immediately sent that to the city of Jacksonville. And what that did was they put my information back out there to the city of
Fabulous.
Jacksonville, to the senior centers and the libraries. So they want me going back in and doing another presentation. And another
Wow.
person who was on that email chain said, well, what else can we do? And I said, well, there's things that are mentioned in the video. So consider doing these things. So what it has happened is we've created a dialogue with the city so that they can understand what they can do to support the seniors in the community, especially in the senior centers. So it's definitely been beneficial. And in the long run, you know, no matter what kind of business model you have, there is a way that you can tap into this market. These people are dying for education. I mean, I'm just gonna there's 100 realtors in Jacksonville. There's probably 1,000, and if there's 1,900 of them are certified senior real estate specialists. The best part is they have huge budgets for presentations. I don't. I'm a one-person business. I have zero budget for presentation, but I have the presentation. So they bring me along. They feed the people. I look like the hero, and it didn't cost me anything. So if you're a small business who's trying to make it work, this is a great way, especially in networking meetings, to say, hey, I've got education that you can bring with you to these communities, these 55 up communities, and you can hand out your pens. All I want is the patients whenever they feel like they're going to fall. And it works tremendously. That's why I brought this to Kara, because there's a lot of different avenues for you guys to be able to build your business off of something like this. It just starts with whether you've had zero networking or you've been networking for years like I have. It pays off eventually. You just have to put the work in, and eventually you just ended up like, I'm the Saving Claire guy. That's my name.
Thank you, Chris. That's great.
Yep.
That's great. And thank you, Kara. These are wonderful stories, and we're not exactly sure how everybody's going to be using this, but we want to support it. One thing I do want to make sure to point out is that everybody's a little bit different in their local area, and we understand that. So in addition to the training that we will give you if you sign up as a presenting sponsor, because we want you to know how to do this, we also offer technical support, and we also offer, Chris and Kara have offered generously that if you are kind of stuck, they interface with you. Chris has very generously offered to set up a short video screening session if you want to do a one-on-one. He's very good at texting and phone calling. So the support is there also. If you're interested, we're going to do what we can to get you the success that you need over time. So I think we covered most of everything, and I think we're good. I'd love to get out maybe a minute or two early. Everybody has made an effort here this evening, and I want to thank everybody, all of you who are attending, and Chris Wilson and Kara Welke for your time today in bringing this. It's a very valuable thing. We know this is an important and valuable project, and we need partners and people to work with as we hopefully stop the falls epidemic. But thank you all very, very much. And Kara, thank you very much. Chris or Kara, do you have anything else? Please close out.
So as far as next steps, if you guys can fill out the form that is in the chat, and we'll also send out an email with the information, then we'll be going through the results and getting back and meeting with you guys. And what we did last go around with our first group, we actually did a few sessions with the group as a whole. We're seeing how many people are interested, and then we'll do a follow-up contact with all of you guys who's interested, where we talk about get into a little bit more detail with those that are actually interested in doing it, because it does, depend on where you're at and location and so forth. So, so that'll be the next step, right, Chris? We'll go through the results, and then we'll do a follow-up with all of you guys that are interested. So.
Yes, exactly. Oh, Kara, Shannon Ruzica has asked, do you provide the cost for the rights to use this? Thank you. Excellent question. And I didn't want to just start, pushing it out. The way we price this is it's for a 1-year presenting sponsorship is $950. We normally have a $200 setup fee, but because you're part of Kara's group, then you don't have to pay that as far as this is concerned. And that's for a 1-year presenting sponsor license. And then if you want to sign up for 2 years right away, then there's a discount for the second year. So it's not $950 times 2. But I don't want to get ahead of us. So that's the general price that we're talking about. But thank you very much for asking for that.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
please-
And then at our follow-up meeting, we'll go through kind of what that all entails too, as far as like what we did for the other groups and all of that as well. So.
Perfect. All right. Well, again, thank you all very much. I
Thank you,
really
Chris and
appreciate you taking
Chris.
the time.
Have a great night. Thank you, everyone, for
Okay,
joining
you
us.
too.
And we'll send you out the recording as well. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.